So for the final part of the development work, you can see this is a complete development sheet. And just to go back a couple of stages very briefly, you've got your models, okay, your design concept that you then modelled. On the models, you've made some changes with your fine line pen. You've come down here, you've made further changes. We'll look at the annotations in a minute, and I can see graphically that cutout now is a little bit higher. We've moved the clock face up and so on. We've looked at different colour schemes or colourways, the different colours that could be used. I've then moved on to take that a step further, where I've gone for this colourway here of yellow and blue. Blue being the major colour, because I think that gives a more nautical and maritime feel. And I prefer the curves as well. And then this side elevation or side view has got, you know, we've got more layers than that. I think you've got about 13 layers. You can see the clear layer for the glass, then the blue for the face, for the clock front, and then somewhere back here we've got the face, the clock face acrylic, which is the blue one. So let's look at the annotations. Now remember, you're being assessed on development. All of these annotations are not about development, but you must start with the development. So we'll start at the top. Remove bulky material. So that is a design improvement. Development is about improvement. Remove sharp point. Won't dig in the user's hands. It's no good saying remove the sharp point. Explain why. So when you think about it, that's a safety development. That's a design and manufacture development. Okay, then I've slipped in there just some information about why we put a model. Gives a 3D visual of the clock body. So let's look at some more annotations for development. These images are the same, remember, these photographs. Angle adds a bit of style. The cutting adds an additional feature. Scale model demonstrates size and proportion. So I've started off here. I've got 4 annotations relating to development straight away. Then we're going to come diagonally across the page. We'll come here next. Okay. So I've said here that the clock still has a nautical sail look. Right. So I need to review the pointed feet. And that's because the pointed feet may mark the tabletop or the bench top or the chest of drawers top that's going to fit into. Okay. Less acrylic is less wear on the tools when manufacturing. Sounds silly, but it's a fact. Okay. Very time consuming here, cutting and finishing this and so on and so forth. So there are some more developments. Now I've moved the clock face up as well. I've moved the clock face up more centrally. So that looks a lot better aesthetically. Okay. So let's look at the colourways. Orange and black doesn't fit with the decor. Red and white. The white can look a little bit dirty, I've said. Maritime colours suit better. So let's go on to another stage of development. Okay. I believe manufacture, it's easier to blend the curves. It's a bit more forgiving. Okay. The acorn nuts rather than straightforward nuts add more of an expensive look. Aesthetically nice curves. Okay. Putting the second hand in adds contrast. Rounding the feet off won't mark the unit top that it sits on. Okay. I believe it's got a more modern styling look. And look, I've not even added to it yet that lifting the clock face up or adding more thickness there would aid with the manufacturing, that there's less chance of these wider areas splitting. So let's go back a stage. When you've added your annotations, and I would expect, 8 or 9 annotations over the full development, what you can then do is, okay, you've added your colour, you've added your annotations, you can then look for some general annotations that you've not used before. So go back to your research, go back to your clock design concept. So a general one, acrylic is a thermo set. Okay. An open back. We've got an open back on the other side. Easy to access to change the battery. Okay. Bold hands, easy to tell the time. Okay. We can say that that the rounded feet won't mark the dresser top or something like that. Sorry, the bolt holds the acrylic layers together. That's a fact that we've got. The modern look is a fact as well. So you could go and add more. You could say that you can use an acrylic polish to polish these edges. Look, there's many other general annotations you could make. But if you look at the ones that I've made, we've got safety with the point. We've got manufacturability to make it easier to manufacture. We've got aesthetics by changing the shape and the form, more of a modern look. We've got adding the aesthetics of colours of the yellow and the blue, yellow and blue, to add a more nautical theme. We've got easier to tell time by adding the second hand. We've said that the acorn nuts has a more classy, more expensive feel. So you can see the story. Oh, and also, of course, moving up the clock face higher up so we've not got thin parts. You know, when I drill out that hole with a hole saw, 76mm diameter, it's about 120mm across here. You know, if that's too thin there, that is going to crack or break, because you've said in your research work that acrylic does do that, okay? You know, so you can see the story from this to this. You can see the similarities. They are not totally different. That is not a totally different design from there. But we're after the story of the development and the reasons why to improve first and foremost, and then add some general annotations from your research that you've not used before, or take some of the general ones even, you know, from your design concepts. But that's what your development sheet looks like. Remember, first and foremost, you are being assessed on your ability to develop, not produce a whole new design concept. You're also going to be assessed in a lesser way, quality of your photographs, your creating work, adding your colour tone, you know, and the quality of annotation. There's a few marks for the presentation as well, but it's mainly the development. Thanks very much.